The African Savannah. A place of breathtaking beauty, but also of raw, untamed danger. For most, it's a dream destination, a chance to witness nature in its purest form from the safety of a tour vehicle. But what happens when that safety is shattered? What happens when the line between observer and prey blurs in an instant? This is the story of a dream vacation that turned into a desperate fight for survival. It began like any other safari. Sun high in the sky, cameras clicking, and the distant roar of a lion echoing across the plains. But as the sun began to set, casting long, menacing shadows, the air grew heavy. An unsettling silence fell over the savannah. The birds stopped singing. The insects went quiet. The experienced guide, a man who had spent his life in these lands, felt a prickle of fear on his skin. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. They were deep in the reserve, miles from the nearest outpost, when the engine sputtered and died. The silence that followed was absolute and deafening. Then, a low growl rumbled through the floor of the jeep, a sound so deep it felt like the earth itself was angry. It wasn't one lion. It was a pride. And they were hungry. The first impact felt like a freight train hitting the side of the vehicle, the metal groaning in protest. Glass shattered. Panic erupted. The tourists, moments ago snapping photos, were now trapped in a metal box, surrounded by the most efficient predators on the continent. The guide, seasoned and calm under pressure, knew their only chance was to wait for the attack to subside and make a run for it. But the lions were relentless, testing every weakness, their powerful bodies ramming the jeep again and again. As darkness fell completely, the assault finally eased. The lions, perhaps bored or sensing easier prey elsewhere, had moved on. But the damage was done. The jeep was a wreck, the radio smashed, and they were stranded. The guide gathered the terrified survivors. His face was grim. "They'll be back," he said, his voice low but firm. "Or something else will find us. We can't stay here. Our only chance is the old ranger station. It's about 10 miles south of here." 10 miles. On foot. Through a landscape teeming with predators that owned the night. It was a suicide mission, but staying put was a death sentence. Armed with only a flare gun, a first aid kit, and a single hunting knife, the small group stepped out of the mangled jeep and into the terrifying darkness of the African night. Every rustle of grass, every distant call sent shivers down their spines. The guide led them, his senses on high alert. He taught them how to walk silently, how to read the stars for direction, and how to use the terrain for cover. They moved from one rocky outcrop to another, shadows in a land of shadows. Hours crept by, each minute an eternity. Thirst became an agonizing torment, and fear was a constant companion. At one point, a pair of glowing eyes watched them from the darkness. Hyenas. They circled the group, their chilling whoops and laughs echoing through the night. The guide fired the flare gun into the air. The bright red light streaked across the sky, momentarily scaring the scavengers away, but they knew the hyenas would follow, waiting for a moment of weakness. It was a harrowing reminder that they were not the hunters here. They were the hunted. Just as the first hint of dawn began to paint the eastern sky, they saw it. A faint, flickering light in the distance. Hope surged through their exhausted bodies. It was the ranger station. But their ordeal wasn't over. As they stumbled closer, the silhouette of a massive bull elephant blocked their path. It stood like a grey mountain, ears flared, a clear sign of aggression. One wrong move and it would charge. Frozen in place, they held their breath. The guide whispered for everyone to stay perfectly still, to show no threat. The elephant watched them, its intelligent eyes weighing their intentions. After what felt like a lifetime, the great animal gave a low rumble, turned, and majestically walked away, melting back into the bush. With tears of relief, they finally staggered into the safety of the deserted ranger station, collapsing from exhaustion. They had faced the wild heart of Africa, and against all odds, they had survived. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe for more survival stories.